success here at MCEC, which stands for Muskegon Community Educational Center, the place where the center of your child's education is magnified in a collaborating community. Our focus here at MCEC is community involvement, careers, social emotional learning, and nutrition. What's up, PK? What or who do we have on the agenda today, fam?
Well, you know, I do my best to keep it real, even if I have to fake it a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and introduce Miss Longmire, Bonicka Longmire, and then you can introduce Mr. Frank Cox. Does that seem fair, Chauncey?
That's cool. That's it. We could do that.
All right. So Bonicka Longmire, everyone should know her name if you go to Muskegon Public Schools, because she is the connect for careers for kids, for exploration, for trying to make sure kids understand that there are many, many things out there they can do. And then if the kids can't get to those things, then she brings those things right into the schoolhouse. She's an amazing conduit to careers and career readiness. She comes to us via, correct me if I'm wrong, the Career Technical Center. She works out of there and through the Muskegon Area Intermediate School District. So Bonicka Longmire, we're so happy to have you on here today because you mean so much to the kids of our district.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here on Facebook with you guys live and be able to talk to the community and as well as talk with you guys. So thank you.
All right. Chauncey?
All right, I'm gonna introduce our Frank Cox. You know, I'm a Spartan, so the Michigan State, shout out, go green, go white. Frank Cox has been partner with things I've been doing in the community since 2012. And he always have shared the open door of MSU Extension with Muskegon Public Schools and given our students great opportunities to be on campus, to get opportunities within our community, and always telling us the resources. So just recently, Frank connected me with an opportunity to go back to school to be connected and to build our program. But also in the capacity, he always calls me about books and about things that teachers can do in the capacity of our community. And like Bonicka, he's a great partner to have. And I just feel like this platform is recognizing people and making them visible. And he's definitely one of them. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you. I'm glad to be on here.
All right. So the first question we always ask, or that I always ask, I guess is more accurate and apropos, is how did you get to where you are? So if you're going to tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis, but then, you know, let us understand your path, because a lot of people think that you just go to college and you leave college and something magical happens and you find your career. Some people don't know that you can go on other pathways besides college to find a career. So Bonicka, why don't you kick us off and just tell us, how did you get where you are today?
Well, first of all, I just, you know, the passion that I have is for educating all ages. But when in school, elementary, middle school, high school, I always said I wanted to be the person that I didn't have in school. So I wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of different opportunities, different things that were that was not presented, or I found out late when it came to, you know, if it was college or, you know, homework, those things. I wanted to be that person to make sure that kids or adults were educated. My background is in criminal justice, juvenile probation. And I started off in that career, but I didn't want to be that disciplined person. I didn't want them kids to look at me as like, okay, here I go. I got to go see Miss Longmire, and because I know I'm in trouble or something like that. And that's definitely the area that I did not want to be in. So I always was working in avenues where I was help coaching families, educating students, parents, how to get on the right track, or just given that opportunity for them to be in the known. Like I said, if it was that student or that parent, and that's what led me into this field, because families, education, kids, that all goes together. When you have that when you have that in that family, mom and dad don't have to, you know, worry about what's going on with the kids, or when the kids are in school and parents know where, if they have a gas bill, light bill, where they can go, I can be in that area and the family unit will work together.
So you looked at some of the things that were missing as you were coming up
Mm-hmm.
You started initially in one career, but reassessed your skills that had been there, and then made some decisions to move into a different career that was kind of related, but on a flip side, so you could really bring your skills to fruition and helping people.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. How about you? How about you, Frank Cox? How did you get where you are today?
Well, I was raised in Houston, Texas, and so while I was in high school, my junior year, I ended up being part of FFA. It was called Future Farmers of America, and the only reason I was in those classes is because the school that I transferred to was not a school I was zoned to. So the only way I could attend that school was to take those classes in agriculture. And so I ended up liking those classes. So by the time it was time for me to graduate, or as I was in my senior year, I said, yeah, I'm gonna, pretty much continue to pursue this. So I applied to Prairie View A&M University, which is a historically Black college and university. And it's also a land grant school. And your land grant schools provide your agriculture majors and other things like that. And so I ended up going to Prairie View A&M University, majoring in agriculture and human resources. During my time there, I was, I kind of tagged along to one of the professors there, Dr. Freddie Richards, and he was in agricultural education, also agriculture economics, and also did international type studies. And so I kind of wanted to just, from his influence, wanted to kind of follow the path that he was on. And so by the time I graduated from Prairie View, I ended up going to Penn State for graduate school. While I was at Prairie View, I was joining different organizations in agriculture. I worked in the meat lab. And so I was part of a group called Manners, Minorities in Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Related Sciences. And because of that, I ended up getting a summer, participating in a summer research program at Purdue University. And that kind of influenced me to kind of get out of Texas, pretty much. And so because Dr. Richards went to Penn State, I just kind of followed his trail through ag education to go to Penn State for my master's. And while I was there for my master's, part of my assistantship was working with the pre-college program called the Food and Agricultural Sciences Institute, which was under Dr. Blaney Bowen. I did my thesis around that. And because as I was graduating from Prairie View, I worked in the internship for Texas A&M, or Texas AgriLife Extension. And so as I was coming out of Penn State, I kind of wanted to do extension, and then realized I could make a match with the pre-college program that I worked with at Penn State. And I made a connection with another professor while I was at Penn State. And he finished his doctorate from Michigan State University, Dr. Danny Perkins. And so he was telling me about MSU Extension, because I was thinking about going back down south to work for Extension. And he said, no, you want to kind of look at Michigan. He was kind of pushing me in that direction. And so I ended up applying, and the connections came together. An opening came open here in Muskegon. And so since January 2001, I've been here with Michigan State University. I started off with working with the 4-H program, managing the 4-H clubs and volunteers, working with the Muskegon County Youth Fair throughout my time. And at the same time, 20% of my time was at one time SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistant Program. And because 20% of my time was SNAP Ed, that's how I got connected to Muskegon Public Schools, because I first started working with Muskegon Public Schools through their 21st Century Community Learning Centers, through their after-school programs. And so as time went on, my job responsibilities have also encompassed mentoring. I've been working with a pre-college type program relating to OsteoChamps, which takes place at Michigan State University for students who are interested in becoming a doctor or anything in the health field. And through that, I'm linked up with the Osteopathic Foundation of West Michigan, where we work with youth once a month to help train them become a doctor. And so that was the program that helped me put a format together to reach out to other youth with pre-college programming ideas, and putting the format together for pre-college programs like service learning, getting into mentoring or other community service, so that you can put together a good portfolio for higher education. And it might not be college, even if it's just a trade and you want to go to trade school, put the foundation in place for you to be ready or be college ready as you go into any form of higher education that you choose to. So I've been overseeing a mentoring program called 4-H Tech Wizards, in which I really just write the grant and try to manage the funds for. And we have 3 sites, sites here in Muskegon County, sites in Mason County, and sites out east in Bay County as well. So I've just been trying to use all these experiences to help prepare youth for when they graduate from high school, that they can be a mentor, give back to the community, be prepared for higher education, and just really overall be productive citizens once they graduate from high school, and have that give back factor and just be that positive influence that, you know, everyone is looking to have.
You know, that's an astounding narrative, because you went to a school and you had to become involved in FFA, but you're not a farmer. I mean, and I think sometimes we operate under a misconception that certain kinds of programming only do one small corner of a thing. FFA isn't just about bringing a calf to adulthood and then bringing it to the butcher. There are so many pieces, and Matt, you are the king of connection. I'm just going to tell you that. I mean, your new nickname should be like Mackinac Bridge or something, because you're just bridging all kinds of things. And I think in terms of the last thing you said, which is this osteopathic School of Medicine program to help kids who are interested in becoming doctors really get the experiences in place, so that can be a real goal for them if that's what they want to do. So if anyone's watching this show and you have your young person at home and she says, you know, Mom, I'd really like to be a doctor, you better hashtag Frank Cox quicker than you can type lickety split. Because really, I mean, let's face it, with any career, whether it's farming or whether it's medicine or whether it's a trade school, you need to know what the pieces are, what the rungs to the ladder are, so you can actually get there. And so we have 2 people now who've parlayed their experiences to put themselves into places, not just to do a profession, but to spread the profession and make it accessible to people in the county. I hope Mercy Hospital is listening. I hope other hospital systems are listening, because that kind of thing, having the Bonicka Longmires, having the Frank Coxes, that's how a kid's dream can imagine a dream, right? A kid can imagine something, and then people can help that dream come true. Whew. You better ask the next question, Chauncey, because I'm about to run around the room.
I'll let them punch you in your head, because let them do, because they have been integral parts to our program. Every time I see them, I'm excited, because they are so transparent with the knowledge that they have and the information that they have. And you can't say no when they roll out opportunities to be like doctors, or your kids want to do this. I got this. I'm like, wow, like this stuff been here the whole time. And it's just like, you know, this MCEC fam, they're part of the fam, just period. But the question I had for you guys was, because Frank is busy. It's hard to catch Frank. I got to catch him at the barbershop or calling. He'll make time for me. And I can get to Bonicka, like, we got a meeting tomorrow. Can we talk about these things? But I want to ask, what are the 3 to 5 things that you do on a daily basis that makes up your career? The 3 to 5 tasks that you do a day that fits you in that career path of what you do, because both of your jobs I've worked with you closely for several years. So your jobs cover a broad perspective throughout this county. And I always think, I was like, wow, they helped us with a lot, but like, what does that entail for 3 to 5 things that you do with fidelity to make that connection to our students and the programming? The 3 to 5 things you do daily. I know we're in a COVID situation, but you know, if you could just share the 3 to 5 things that you do in a day that connects those opportunities and those experiences of exploration towards careers for us. Who want to go first?
Well, I could start with, I have a team, and it's a total of 5 of us. And one thing that I definitely make sure is to make a connection with different team members because of what is out there. It is a lot out there. Um, and we want to make sure our students are aware of the different connections and that's out there. So one of the things, and a lot of research, the research to be in the know, because everything from employment to job skills, soft skills, it changes so much. One day they say, oh, it's okay to have a 2-page resume, or the next day, nope, that's just one. So I do a lot of researching, um, reaching out to my resources in the community, in my team within, working on, because we have Maven. I have 2 other districts. I have a North Muskegon district. Then I took on JTC. So each one of those districts, and then Muskegon, there are 3 different, totally different places to be at, and to come up with different things to make sure students are involved, interactive. We're started our future focus, which you've had students getting in, bringing in career speakers, making sure we have our Maven cards together, starting those. So that's what makes up my day or week or minute of just making sure to being in the know, educating myself, working with my team, making sure my districts are well informed of different connections that's out there for students, which with the pandemic this year has really caused some things of not being for students to go in and have the experience that we did last year. So we have to be even more creative for those things. So I say just a lot of reaching out, making sure students and staff is aware of what's out there.
You said that in a modest and humble way. I just want to share. Mrs. Longmire, I had her daughter, great kid. I mean, 100%. I mean, you could tell that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Your husband, everything is great, impeccable about your family. And I just want to say this. A lot of things we're doing today, audience, is because Mrs. Longmire hunted those things down and put them in space for us. So me, Paul, Brent, Tom, and our staff can have a shared vision when we have conversations. And it's been a blessing for our program. So I just want to let you know that 3 to 5 things that you're doing daily has spilled over into our program as if your spirit is over it. So I can just give you a phone call, like, we're doing this next. Or like Tom say, contact Bonicka, think what she thinks about this. So you have an umbrella over us, and we really appreciate how the ISD is pulled you in with us. It's been a blessing for our program. So I appreciate hearing the research and doing things and figuring out how to connect it with the diverse populations that you work with. And I know that's a challenge in itself, but we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep. So Frank, go 3 to 5. I can't never catch you. So I want to see what your 3 to 5 is.
You know, my 3 to 5 really is similar to Ms. Longmire. I'm really just trying to get out there and make connections so that I could try to offer the resources that we have to help assist with the programs or the schools or community organizations out there to help meet the needs that they have relating to 2 of the work teams that I'm on, career exploration and workforce preparation. And we also focus on entrepreneurship and money management, which I used to do with Mr. Williams back in the day over at Oakview with the distinguished gentlemen and the distinguished women programs that he used to oversee. And also the volunteer excellence support team. My role for that is really, like I said, overseeing the mentoring with the 4-H Tech Wizards programs that we have. And so I'm really just trying to make the connections, offer the resources, and then once I make the connections and offer the resources, how can I partner and program with those organizations or people that I reach out to and make the connections with? And so once that is done, we also have to do reporting and all the other paperwork, that, other organizations have to do. And so we're looking to like increase our resources, increase our capacity. Grant writing is becoming more important for us and our organization. And so things like that. And, one of the when we made our transition back in 2010, 2011, 2012, they had us also, we had to begin to start writing articles. So that's another component that I'm just trying to continue to do in my job, is to write articles for our MSU Extension website relating to the 2 work teams that I'm on. But it's mainly make connections, offer resources, program, report, write articles, and really just do my part to help us get our name out there. Even if the connection I make is not in my program area, and it may be in a program area or one of my colleagues who may be based in Muskegon County or who may not be based on Muskegon County, even try to get them involved. And if it's not a fit for MSU Extension, think of other organizations outside of MSU Extension that can help meet that local organization or community need that, that they have.
All right. So I'm gonna say this. So Frank, I mean, you work as a pastor also, right? And what church is that?
Yep, I'm one of the associate ministers at Bethesda Baptist Church. Reverend Dr.
That's right. Yep.
Is a Baptist.
So Frank does this. He's done this to me several occasions. He'll invite me somewhere, and I don't have no clue of what's going on. Okay, I'll go somewhere. So like he said, John, Michigan State have something you want to go. So I'm like, oh, Michigan State, yeah, I'm an alum now. I'll go. So last September, I think I told Tom, I gotta leave. I get in the car with you. I meet you, Frank, and we drive to Lansing. And he takes me in this room in the hotel of the what hotel? Kellogg, right? It was in Kellogg. So we was in this big old expo. It was all K through 12 outreach. It was all the programs that Michigan State offers, from STEM, career readiness, CBE education. So it helped me see the platform that our program needed to see, just because, and the people he's talking about, he shares those resources, even if it's not in his field. And like I said, by having him and Bonicka here today, it just lets you know that if you want true partnership, not collaboration, it's all about being transparent and saying, hey, I got this for you. It looks like you need this. And Frank, that's what you have done for us also. So I just can't wait to see how this relationship is going to grow and build. And that's why we call the show MCEC Fam. So that's the question I had. You guys answered it great and making me have some flashbacks of the experiences I've had with both of you. So I really and truly, again, I don't know how many times I can say this, I really appreciate what you have done for our fam here. People just don't know.
Well, and see, I'm probably misquoting the article because I have a tendency to do that based upon my own personal biases. But I think I read something recently about some of the top tier tech companies shifting their models from, we're going to these certain schools to hire these certain people to run our companies, because by standardized test scores and so forth, they're the cream of the crop. And it sounds like they've been looking anew at their metric that they use for hiring people, because some of the qualities they want in their companies aren't coming out as much as they want. So why am I saying all that? I'm saying that to say this: we have two people who began at one place in their careers, and now are at a completely different yet linked place. The idea being, in my perfect world, a person enters the medical field at 18 or 19 as maybe a CNA. We have to do a better job of showing that person what her or his skills are and where they can go within the company. Because we have too many smart people who aren't reaching their potential or finding what they want, because there are no supports along the way to let people know what the road signs are, what the directions are. And it sounds like, Frank, you found some key people that helped you blaze a path, but then you went off your own intuition to connect. And Bonicka, it sounds like, I mean, you could have stayed in the career you began, and you could have earned and done all those things, but it wouldn't help you fulfill your potential, because your potential wasn't just a bottom line. So
Right.
that leads us into our next question, which is, who is the person that because he or she was in your life, you continued in a path that's helped bring you to where you are today? Who is that person that sort of intervened, interjected, interrupted your life, and you look back and think that was a person who had a significant impact on my life? Bonicka, who is that person?
I'm gonna have to say uh, my dad, and he always used these words of, "No one owes you anything. You have to go out and try it and do it for yourself." And when I think about that, I wanted to have those opportunities, like I said earlier, to share with individuals, to share with families, because there is not a one-stop shop. I mean, you have to share your knowledge, you have to share your wisdom, you have to be open, you have to be honest with individuals. That one thing, no one can take your education away, and you never too young or old. Every day you should be reading and learning something. And I wanted to go out there and strive and be the best that I can at whatever it is. And that's what I, want to reach out to the students and to my own children, that you can do it beyond, they say the sky is the limit. No, nope, you need to go and keep on going. So I'm going to say it was my dad that really instilled in me that, you know what, there's, if there you hear no, there's another door. If you hear no, no, there's another door. There's another opportunity. So keep on, keep striving, and always build those relationships. Just build relationships, talk, understand, be quick to speak, and you be slow to speak and quick to listen. Just listen, understand, and don't be so judgmental. We've all done some things, and our students, they're kids, they're learning, and we just have to wrap our arms around them to understand, and listen to them and the directions that they want to go. A lot of times you hear yourself, you want to live through your kids. No, give them the opportunities. College may not be the way, but there's a trade. If it's not the trade, it's the college. You go out there and do the best that you can be.
Well, I guess we're having church up in here again this week. We've been we've been getting a message every week, multiple messages, really. How about you, Frank? Same question. Who is that person?
Uh, I can start with my father as well. When, like I said, I was coming out of high school and, thinking I was going to be an agriculture major. He was supportive of it. And I think he even remembering him mention something about the benefit of going into agriculture as a career. Now, one thing I will kind of highlight is that when you're in high school and going into college and you tell people that, yeah, I'm majoring in agriculture and human resources, or I'm majoring in agriculture, animal science, or agricultural economics, anything agricultural related, you're not going to get the best response from people because you're saying you're going to be an agriculture major. I'm just say that, well, especially in the African American community, because of the negative stereotypes relating to sharecropping, even slavery, hard work, hard labor, low pay. And so he was supportive of that. My mom was supportive of it. So my family was supportive of me going into it. And see, as I continued to move forward at Prairie View, that's when Dr. Richards, who I mentioned earlier, stepped in, and I was able to learn quite a few things about the diversity of connecting experiences to my career relating to agriculture. I think that's the best way to say it. And so really, it was like my parents were supportive, and it was like, as I continued to move forward, it was like an extended family that grew in this field that, has been able, in which I've been able to learn skills and just really navigate my way to who I'm becoming in the career field that I'm in today.
Mhm. That's good.
All right. Well, we have generally one final question, and that is, we'd like you to, possibly give us one of two things. One would be some advice to students and or parents or the community, or saying something that we didn't touch on that you think is pretty important for people to hear. So you have a choice, and we always like to give choices on MCEC Fam. We don't like to be a one-trick pony. So, Bonicka, what say you? What would be some advice you'd give to our community, or what would be something you might want to say that we didn't ask through questions?
Well, I think one thing I will say is when you think of school, just don't think of it as just going to class and having a book in front of you. There's other opportunities within school that teachers, counselors, myself, that can point you in the right direction with other resources that may be useful for students, parents, and as a family, as a group. Like I say, career preparation, a career awareness, or, it may be other things that we can connect you out into the community for you to get the answers and different resources that you may need. So not just think of school, but school as a resource as well, because like I say, there's other wealth of opportunities out there that we can point you in different directions for you can get the answers for your students and for your family.
So basically, Bonicka, you just put us all out there and said, if any student has a dream and wants to imagine that dream and figure out how to obtain it, they better come see one of us, because we all have the ability to figure out A, what's the path, or B, even better, figure out who we need to call to find out what the path is. Because if we've learned anything today, it's about the connections, right? It's about
Exactly.
linking people to other people, because we can't live in a vacuum. Frank, what about you?
I think the first thing that came to mind really is for students or anyone to be proactive in putting the things in place for you to be successful and to help you get to where you want to go. One of the lessons I teach, that I really enjoy is activities that students or even people in general can participate in, and things that they can put in place to help them get to where they want to go. And I always emphasize community service learning, get a mentor or a support network of trusted adults around you, or people, that can help you get to where you want to go. Therefore, when like you're in school, to really take notice of what your teachers are teaching you and how they can help you and how you can connect to them to help you, so that you can get advice from them and other types of information to help you learn your skills, your talents, and your trades. And that could also be done when you're carrying out different types of service learning activities. And also, if you think you want to go to college, take advantage of pre-college programs, going to the campus, staying overnight in certain programs, like, for example, how we have 4-H exploration days at Michigan State University, and just really gaining experience to help you make the best decision in where you're going or where you want to go. So really, your support network and being proactive to participate in different activities to help you with your higher education and career desires. Be proactive in putting those things in place. And also, if you have great character, it can open up doors for you to help put that support at work, and also for you to get and participate in those types of experiences to help you, once again, get to where you want to go.
Yes.
Well, I can't, and I know I speak for myself, but I think I'm fairly safe to assume I'm speaking for everybody here. We are so thankful that you guys were willing to take some time to come out and join us here at MCEC Fam, so that we have a living, breathing video online that we can use not only now during this pandemic, but in the near future. And we appreciate you being willing to share the inside secrets to your success, because they aren't so very secretive, but sometimes our kids don't know who to ask. And I think we've made it clear that kids need to ask questions, character matters, connect with people, build relationships, and above all else, imagine where you want to go, not where you are. Because that's a huge piece. You start where you start, right? So Frank, Bonicka, if you'd like to stick around for the remainder of the show, you're certainly welcome, but I know you both have busy schedules, so we respect the fact that if you have to go too. But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you all.
Thank you.
And I do have to go, so thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Likewise. Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Frank.
Ooh, Chauncey, you're bringing church to MCEC Fam. I mean, really, the testimonials. I mean, I wish I had heard Bonicka and Frank when I was 17 years old at Muskegon High School as a young Big Red, because the older I get, the more I realize that the relationships and the collaboration are the key. And I wasn't, well, I'm still struggle with it, but I really wasn't good with it when I was young. I thought that I knew it all. I still kind of do, but that's beside the point. So great connect, Chauncey.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, man. That not a connect. They helped us on our path to what we're doing today. So hey, why not show the community like, look, we're not just having people on. They're picking up bricks and putting it on the building of 1458 5th Street. They putting the building together with us. And I'm thrilled by having those two on, because the conversations that we've had, and because I asked for some crazy stuff. And I don't think we all do. So they're like, you want to do what? You want what? And then the way Frank hustles and Bonicka hustles, it's like a 72-hour period that they'll have it in your hand, and it'll be more than enough. The cup runs over, man, when they come.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, I think back, because I remember when Brent was in school. That's how old I am. And I just think, what if Brent had come to me and said, well, he didn't have me as a teacher, but most of his friends and the rest of the football team did. If Brent had come to me and said, Mr. Curley, I'd really like to get involved in FFA. Back then I would have said, you want to go play with animals? Because I didn't really understand that FFA isn't about a place. It isn't about a specific demographic. It's about a pathway. And I think that we're hopefully quickly waking up to the fact that we have to encourage kids to imagine and dream. And then we have to figure out how can we support them to make the dream reality.
Like Frank talked about like you said, the FFA and how he was connected. But then think about how MSU is at MCC right now with the agriculture technology, and how that processing part, or having that person in human resources. I'm learning about a field where you don't even take a 4-year degree and you can make $75,000 with a 2-year certificate. But you don't have to be an actual farmer. You can look at the yield of a crop and how it's going to grow, the GPS, where it's going to be planted at, the science, the math that's in it. I mean, it's so many fields that it's amazing. And we're talking about food sustainability. I mean, if you got somebody that has that background, look what you could do for your community. So, and kudos to those people. And I really look forward to this. And are we in the food segment yet, or we got social emotional learning?
Well, Brent told us that his ability to focus would be limited until we got to his segment. So I think we need to quit holding Brent over that barrel and say, Brent, take us away with the food.
Yes.
Okay. I would be remiss if I did not say how blessed we were to have those two guests on today. I really appreciate what Frank said at the end about character. And you don't got to be perfect, but trying to be a good person pays off. And we, like we tell our team all the time, your character catches up to you. And so you got to be mindful of the way that you treat others. And I thought that was an outstanding point amongst the, dozens and dozens of great points that both of them made. However, I will say that I have been uncomfortably hungry and somewhat distracted during the first segment of our show. And the only thing that kept me engaged was the blessings that our two guests were giving us. But I will say that on our food segment, You know, I disappointed a little bit last week without having any food, and for that I apologize. And so I dug into the archives and scoured through our local eateries to try to find a business that could bless our show today. And I tell you what, during the pandemic, there has been, you know, we always say to support our local restaurants, and I agree, we need to, especially after yesterday, the dining restrictions got extended again, and it's in the air of safety. So it's kind of on us to go to them now, okay? And during the pandemic, there were several establishments that gave away food to families that were in need, because it, you know, this hasn't only, you know, impacted the eateries around town, it's impacted people's lives, where people are losing their jobs because there simply isn't work to do. And so the Curry Kitchen, okay, the Curry Kitchen on 3rd Street, right next to our beloved Hamburger Mikey, all right, pumps out some of the best Indian food, all right? Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you, okay? To the previous point, they've got 2 locations, one here, one in Grand Rapids, and at one point they had given away 500 meals in a week, and it's chicken and curry, and a lot, it's not just, it's their food that they were giving away to families in need, which is a large reason why I wanted to spotlight them today, okay? And so I was at Taste of Muskegon, seems like forever ago, when you could get together with people and have like a common area of spoons. And I tried butter chicken, okay? And I liked it from them, and I liked it, but you know, you just get a little nibble, you know, you don't get the full deal. And so we went home, and within a period of time, my wife and I made it again, and I felt like we did an okay job, but it obviously wasn't them. And so I had the idea, let's do Curry Kitchen. Now, my experience with authentic Indian food is like a spoonful, okay? Well, I got more than a spoonful today. I've got a container. Now, this is totally, like, I have not tried this. I refuse to open it. My office smells like solid gold right now, because, you know, you think of Indian food, they use all these spices and herbs, and it's very fragrant, okay? You get a bunch of rice. This is actually mine and PK's rice. PK did the right thing and decided to go low carb. I'm going full Monty. I think that their cuisine deserves me feeling a little lethargic this afternoon at football practice. So what I got was a chicken marsala. Now, I Googled if you've had, wow, I'm sorry. I haven't even eaten it yet. So I Googled, now I'm really distracted. And if you think I'm going to contribute to this show after I take a bite of this, you are on another planet. So I Googled, if I haven't had Indian food, what do I need to try? Okay, and their menu is extensive. And the tiki chicken marsala, or chicken tiki marsala, is something they said is like a staple. It's a very popular dish. And so this is raw. It's cooked, but it's a raw reaction, so I haven't tried it. I broke out, by the way, the spork for it, something very classy. So did PK. PK got one too, veggie, and Chauncey got goat, but I'm not letting Chauncey talk yet, because Chauncey's had it before, and he loves goat meat. And so here we go. Wow, that is unbelievable. Okay, on top of that, okay, I got a little story to share. I know I'm hogging the airwaves. Like the rice, okay, is super fragrant. Like, it's not just rice, like it's rice and spice and everything nice that I imagine is going to be unbelievable in this. And so when you're ordering cuisine that you're not really sure about, okay, you ask questions. Don't just go in and order what you think looks best. Start asking questions. So the lady on the phone, her name was Kim, and she was very nice when I met her in person. She says to me, so I order, and she says to me, how spicy would you like it? Well, that's a scary thing, because in certain cultures, spice ain't always on the same level. And I said, I'll be honest, this is like a first time for me. what do you think? And she goes, I wouldn't go above a 3. And so I went 3, and it is the perfect level of spice. It's tomato based. The chicken is fresh, and I don't regret this for a heartbeat. PK, what did you get?
Well, I oftentimes remark that I'm an English teacher first before mostly everything else in my life. And I knew I needed to be vegetarian, right? Because I'm trying to watch my ever-growing figure. I'm trying to get my beach body together. So I said, just get me something vegetarian, Brent. And Brent, being Brent, emails back, you better look at the menu. And I clicked on the link for the menu, and I swear to you, it was 31 pages long. So being the English teacher I am, I go back to what I know. So I go to the vegetarian section, and it says chala masala. Oh, assonance. I love assonance, and I love alliteration. So I will choose the thing that has the double vowel repetition because it's kind of a cool rhyme. Assonance, right? I did it for the assonance. That's what I did. So I have this. It's chickpea, onion, sauce. And I'm telling you, you said something about fragrant, Brent. I'm really thinking about saving some of this for later and like dabbing and just seeing what my beautiful bride thinks about that. But who knows? So here goes. It ain't bad.
It ain't bad.
It's got
No, it ain't bad.
It's got a little bit of heat. Ooh, it's got quite a backblasting. I really think, and I know that this is really showing how simple I am, but I think this would be really good, either getting the naan bread and scooping out of it, or I know, laugh at me now, tortilla chips.
Oh.
But yeah, it's good. So I'm going to take a few more bites, and I'm going to have to call on Chauncey to tell us what he got.
I got the curry goat. So goat goes back. When I was at Michigan State, I lived in an international dorm. So the first time I had it was from a Jamaican guy that was making it in the dorm. I was like, what is he doing? And then it was some Indian people making it. I'm like, everybody making it, curry goat. Like, you eating goat? That's a goat. He's like, it's like it's a better form of your cow. It's a leaner meat. And I was like, okay. So I ended up tasting it. I was like, oh, this is good. So then I seen the Curry Kitchen had it, and I've had it before. So when you said you go in the Curry Kitchen, I was like, oh, I got to get some goat. And they say when you the greatest of all time, you eat goat. Then you are what you eat. I was like, hey, let me get some goat. But I love the smell. And then Brent, I'm starting to see you, and I'm starting to smile every time I see you because you digging in the archives with some good food. And like I walk past your office when I got to go to the main office. I'm like, hey, Brent, like, why are you so jolly seeing Brent? I'm like, hey, Brent bringing some good food through MCEC. He got a good palate. So I'm gonna bite the goat, and I put a picture of my boy Shannon Sharp behind me because he always for Goat James because you are what you eat. So I got the Goat James behind me, and
I'm just going to say, I mean, the heat on this is really nice.
the texture.
That was a level 2, by the way. I went 2 out of 5. And so she was like, well, 4 and 5 is kind of extreme. I was like, well, I like spicy stuff. I'll go 3, which I'm glad I did. And I gave you guys both a 2. And it was either going to be really funny and watch you be uncomfortable, or you were going to love the spice. But yeah, these guys are unbelievable. The food is unreal. Do not be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to trade. I can't even speak. Don't be afraid. Like, if you guys knew how good this smelled, you'd understand what I'm going through. Don't be afraid to try new things. They're on 3rd Street. They got a bunch of stuff. The naan bread is unbelievable. I regret not getting some naan. I'm gonna be honest with you. A naan is like, so in Indian culture, they got like a clay oven that they stick the bread to, and it comes out and it's really good. So they've invested back into the community. They've given away tons of food to people in need, and they do it very selflessly, and it's very good food that they're giving away, not just not just bagged lunches. They're giving away their food. They're putting themselves out to help other people, and which really inspired me to go there today on a whim. And I'm glad I did. And it will not be the last time that I go back there. And so the Curry Kitchen, support these dudes. They get 2 big red thumbs up. If you like spicy stuff, I suggest level 3 heat. If you are insane, like a few of my friends, they're gonna range the other direction. If you don't like anything spicy at all, I suggest level 1. So try them, check them out. You won't be disappointed. Let's support them as they continue to support us, and not even us personally. I got no skin in the game with them, but where some of the other ones I kind of did. But yeah, support these guys. They're awesome, and I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't even.
Gotcha.
I hope you got something really good to bring me back, because I'm in trouble.
I don't know, but it's been, I don't know, it feels like a long week. And I remember Monday afternoon, just dragging, and connecting with students on Go Guardian, chatting and emails, and following up with them. It's like sleep is an issue. We don't get enough of it, and whatever is going on, like, that seems to be the thing we sacrifice the first. So I just did some little thinking and reflecting, and I remember how much sleep I'm supposed to get, and I just wanted to confirm it. So it says, yep, adults 7 or more hours per night. Okay, so 7 is the minimum for everybody. If you're getting less than 7 hours of sleep a night, you're not doing it right. For teenagers, for 13 to 18-year-olds, the recommendation is 8 to 10 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period. Okay, so going to bed at midnight and getting up at 6, it's not cutting it. And I know plenty of stories from students where midnight is an early bedtime, and we're pushing things a lot later. And I got into some bad habits over Christmas break that I'm still paying for and trying to bring back. And it's, I don't know, there's something about those wee hours of the morning when everybody else in my house is asleep and I can watch what I want on the TV and do that it's nice, but it just it catches up with me. So then the next thing was this idea of sleep hygiene and how to take care of your sleep habits and yourself, so that you are sleeping well and waking feeling rested. So the number one thing to do to take care of yourself and sleep is to be consistent, to have a consistent bedtime, a consistent routine of things you go through when you're getting ready for bed, and a consistent wake time. So, on days that you don't have school, sleeping until 11 or 12 o'clock is not healthy, because then you're setting that routine up. So every day you want to sleep till 11 or 12 o'clock, and you've got to get up to be at school ready to go by 8:30 every morning. So yeah, even on weekends, even on vacations, stay consistent with when you go to bed and when you wake up. The other big thing is to keep electronics away from your bedtime, and to not lay in bed with your computer, your Chromebook, or your phone and watch a movie as you fall asleep, or be on Facebook right up until you doze off, but to put those things away in at least 30 minutes before you're ready to go to sleep. And then the last is to avoid caffeine in the afternoon. The caffeine stays in your body for 12 hours after you consume it. It takes 12 hours for your body to start processing it and getting rid of it. And so if some people say, I can drink a Mountain Dew right before I go to bed and I sleep fine. You're not sleeping fine. You might think you are, but your perception of what your sleep is way, way wrong. And so, caffeine in the morning, okay. Caffeine in the afternoon and evenings, avoid it as much as you can, so you can get to sleep and you can stick with that routine. And then the other thing, if you're in bed and you're not asleep in 20 minutes, that you need to do something, you need to go through your bedtime routine again to get yourself in that mindset to go to sleep, right? It doesn't mean, if you're having problems falling asleep, don't just get on the phone and play another game. Don't find another chat thread that you can get on, or another thing on Facebook that you can comment on, right? Go back through that routine, get a drink of water, go for a walk, turn things off, like go have that routine and and get those electronics turned off so your brain can shut down and let you fall asleep. So I'm going to try to put some of those into practice. The sleep schedule is probably the biggest, and make sure I get up on the weekends the same way I get up during the week, and look forward to a better week of sleep next week.
I am literally guilty of all of those things. And it explains a lot. And I know that, I feel better when I get a good night's sleep. And you're totally spot on, 100% right about routine. That's huge.
So for my segment, I've got something that's an ever evolving concept the last, 48 to 72 hours. And I'm going to call it tomato thinking, okay? Because my beautiful bride gets these for me because I put them in my lunch. Because some of you know I put myself on the more better diet, which is eat more better food than bad food. So I've had these, I take about 5 of these every day because the tomatoes offset the carrots and celery and even the mushrooms a little bit. So about a couple days ago, my wife saw me take this out of the fridge and attempt to remove, and I was almost successful, the yellow top, right? And she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm taking out the top to get the tomatoes out to put in my lunchbox." She said, "No, you don't do it that way." I was like, "Well, okay, smarty, what do I do?" She said, "You turn it over." And this used to have like a little sticky cap on it. And you open the little sticky cap and you shake out what you want, and then you put the sticky cap back on. Well, the sticky cap fell off, so that's a flaw in their engineering. But needless to say, I was kind of mad at first and wanted to get angry because I'm like, she made me look like a big dum-dum. Also, I learned today, going along with the same thread, is that there are little holes in the bottom so you can run water through it to like a natural strainer, right? So when I talk about tomato thinking, it's my new frame of reference. It's about perspective. I saw the tomatoes in the refrigerator on the shelf. I took them out and I'm taking the top off. My beautiful bride had a different perspective. She demonstrated my foolishness in front of me, and she's very caring, so she didn't make me feel dumb or anything. I felt dumb because that's just me. But she was able to help me see another way of doing something, right? So last night, long story short, I got some news about a request that we had made, and some of the things we had requested were denied. And I was really angry. And I wanted to say naughty words. I wanted to, be mean to the domesticated mammals in the house. I wanted to slam doors. I wanted to push chairs over. But luckily, and this is probably what saved me, is my oldest daughter, Elizabeth, and my beautiful bride were in the room. So I have to at least act like I'm a semi-mature adult. And they said, "Well, what's going on?" So I explained it to them. And then I emailed a couple of my homies, and then they texted because I didn't want to text late at night. And then I told them what was happening. So I got all these different perspectives. And by the end of the evening, when I was about to go to sleep, I wasn't as angry anymore. I wasn't feeling like I should lash out. And so my offering today is tomato thinking. That sometimes the bottom is the top and the top is the bottom. And sometimes we need to not only encourage people to give us their perspective, but we need to allow it. And so kudos to the team here. Kudos to my beautiful bride, Elizabeth, for helping me with my tomato thinking this week. It's all you, Chauncey.
Okay. Man, that food was good. So I had to get up and get a towel to wipe down. That's like little advice, always add spice. Here we go.
Well, I'm just going to say one last thing. Chickpeas are a little funny, because when you cook with them, they still have a little snap to them. I mean, they're not al dente, they're al molar. I mean, they're still pretty strong. But sauce it's in, the sauce that they have, Brent's right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's aromatic. It's delicious. It's savory. So
it ain't bad.
It ain't bad.
What happened was
we digress.
I'll sign us off.
Well,
that's the end of our live hour. Thanks for tuning in to the MCEC Fam Show, the place where the center of your child's education is magnified in a collaborating community.
See you, everybody. Pray for us.
Bye-bye.